Hello and welcome to one of the most famous sporting venues in the world, the Los Angeles Coliseum, which of course staged the 1984 Olympic Games and is venue now for the second staging of the Marlboro Cup, a four-team international tournament involving today's opponents, the Soviet Union and Colombia, plus Costa Rica and the leading Mexican club side, Chivas of Guadalajara. A prestigious competition this, and a very useful form guide to this summer's World Cup finals. All three national teams involved here will, of course, be in Italy. The previously unknown art form, if you like, of soccer, this the home of American football and baseball and so on. But really they'll have to take a big interest now in World Cup football. The Soviet Union topping their particular World Cup group with 11 points. They lost only one match against East Germany, and a tough group that was as well, with Austria also qualifying from it. The Colombians, well, they'll be making only their seconds in the World Cup finals. The last time they qualified was 1962 in Chile, when they went out in the first round. They won their own World Cup qualifying group against Paraguay and Ecuador, and then had to go to a playoff, a two-leg playoff against Israel, and they scored the only goal in those two matches to take their place as well in Italy. Protasov of the Soviet Union, a prolific scorer for club and country, scored 35 goals in a league season for Dynamo Kiev a few years back. And most of this Soviet is based on the highly successful Dynamo Kiev club side, and it's very close to their strongest possible lineup, the lineup which of course took them all the way to the final of the 1988 European Championships, where they lost to Holland. Handshakes all round for the officials, and as I was saying, it's a very big day for them. They certainly won't be used to controlling a match of this kind of status. And here's one of the real characters of the Colombian side, René Higuita, the goalkeeper. Number 11 there is one of their top scorers, Miguel Guerrero. And he actually takes the place in this lineup of probably Colombia's most famous player, and their biggest star, Valderrama, absent from this lineup. But otherwise, it's pretty much the team which took Colombia to their only second appearance in the World Cup finals. They'll be playing in Group D, incidentally, in Italy, against West Germany, Yugoslavia, and the United Arab Emirates. The Soviet Union in Group B will play Argentina, Romania, and Cameroon. Well, it's pretty neat and attractive football from Colombia here, but it certainly lacks sting. And that shot was always way off target, not likely to trouble Viktor Chanov. The number 9, Arnaldo Guaran. And there's Valery Lobanovsky, the head coach, the rather studious, somber figure. They're really behind the Colombians. And that's the Colombian coach, Francisco Maturana, who, apart from being an ex-player and coach of Nacional, the leading club side in Colombia, as well as the national team, he's also, would you believe, a qualified dentist. I suppose that might have some uses in the football world. This is Gomez, given away. Guerrero does well here. Crowd wanting him to go all the way. He thought about it and finally gets the shot in. Oh, it was surprising how much room he was given them by the Soviet defenders. And Miguel Guerrero had one of the best efforts of the game. They all, including the experienced Kuznetsov, the number 13, but the shot wasn't good enough. Given away to Gomez. Rincon, that's a good little ball forward. Gomez with the shot. Well, had he tried to pull it back to his teammate on the far post, Gildardo Gomez might have found himself the hero rather than the villain of the piece then. Rincon forcing the ball through. Gomez shot, it was, I guess, worth it, but had a short spell then in Europe. playing for Espanyol in Spain before going back to the Soviet Union. Decent free kick and a good effort as well by Protasov. Higuita right behind it though. Cabrera. And a wasted clearance by Cabrera gives the Soviets possession again. Protasov playing it forward, but rather aimlessly. Higuita, like several others in the Colombian team, have actually been the subject of death threats back home. A weird and wonderful atmosphere the Colombians play their football in. There have been allegations that Colombian club sides have been involved in whoops, a mistake there by Higuita, so hold on for a moment. There's the rather wild shot by Cherenkov. Placed the ball boys rather in more danger than the goal. Mistake by Higuita, really, which led to that opening. Should have picked that one up with ease and flapped at it. Cherenkov was so surprised, I just couldn't keep his shot down. And I was saying there have been allegations that the Colombian... Herrera. Well done. And suddenly Rodionov in the clear. And Rodionov might well have given the Soviets the lead then. Yaremchuk, the number 9, had done well in the opening stages of that move to win the ball back, and that was a lovely little ball by Yaremchuk, just helped on by Protasov. Rodionov had a sight of goal, kept his shot low but wide. Rats with the free kick. Well, take your pick, there was at least 4 players in an offside position. Certainly the Soviets weren't too intelligent then. Here's Pereira. What a terrible ball, straight to Tatarchuk, and a useful one for Rodionov to chase here. And still Rodionov, and he's done well. And so is the goalkeeper. One or two of his defenders stood in a appeal for offside, and suddenly Colombia break at the other end. Well, certainly Higuita was a better goalkeeper than you sometimes might imagine from his antics, and he proved it then. But Rodionov probably should have scored. But here's Rincon. Good little ball as well for Guerrero. And still Guerrero. Oh, and Chanov had a lot of trouble dealing with that. And suddenly the game burst into life with chances at both ends of the field, and they're not gone yet, perhaps. Guerrero. And the Soviets finally play their way out of trouble. Good football as well. And back it goes to that man, Rodionov again. And again, Higuita doing the unusual, but doing it very effectively. Rodionov. Tatarchuk. Tishenko on from Litovchenko. And certainly the pace of the game really picked up in the last few minutes. Match had finished. It wasn't quite. They were only second. Thumped forward by Herrera. And there indeed is the final whistle from referee Bratsis, and the match between the Soviet Union and Colombia ends in a goalless draw after 90 minutes. And the rules of the competition now dictate that there will be a penalty out to decide the winners. In accordance with the normal FIFA rules, captains will meet as Coach Maturana to defend for the first penalty. Viktor Chanov takes his place in goal, and I wonder what the erratic talents of René Higuita, the Colombian goalkeeper, will produce in this situation. He's a real showman. He'll no doubt relish it. Alexis Mendoza with the first penalty for Colombia against Viktor Chanov. And at last the ball hits the back of the net, and that's 1-0 to Colombia. And hit with real authority by Mendoza. To the goalkeeper's right, high into the net. And a really experienced goal scorer. This pitch will no fears for him. And duly dispatched into an almost identical place. 1-1 on penalties. Must be a huge relief when you've taken your penalty and it's safely in the net. And he sent Higuita the wrong way. Two-1 to Colombia. For Guerrero. And that's a great penalty, right in the corner. Chanov, and was actually top goal scorer in the Soviet World Cup qualifiers with 3 goals. Oh, but he's missed it, and that was a poor penalty. Well, it'll go down officially as a save by Higuita, but really, Litovchenko hit that with no authority at all, side-footed, and he could pat the ball away, Higuita. Not a good penalty at all. And that would favour the lobby who think you should power penalties rather than try and place them. So it's still... This could be important. And blasted home for 3-1. Well, that puts a lot of pressure now on the next Soviet penalty taker. He's got to really score to keep the Soviets alive. Rodionov against Higuita. Oh, and high into the net. That's a superb penalty for 3-2. Well, Rodionov did the business when it mattered in the shootout, even if he didn't score from 1 or 2 good openings in the match. Oh, it was saved by Chanov, so it's still 3-2. The first miss by a Colombian player, Wilmer Cabrera. That was a good save, actually, because it was reasonably well hit. He didn't really power it, but it was quite accurately placed towards the corner. And Chanov palmed it clear. And the substitute, the man who we believe might have come on just to take this penalty, Kolivanov. Oh, well, if he did, it wasn't exactly the greatest technical move by the Soviets because he's missed it. Kolivanov misses it. That's the second miss from the spot. And that means it's still 3-2. And by my calculations, that means that the next penalty for Colombia could decide this match. Yes, he's done it. Higuita has scored the vital penalty, and that means that Colombia have beaten the Soviet Union in the penalty shootout. And the goalkeeper, who's done so much to keep his side alive with a few very good saves, has actually clinched it from the spot. 4-2 on penalties. And straight into the first interview for Colombian radio as well. So, the charismatic figure of René Higuita has got the headlines again. Nothing wrong with that. And I suppose if a goalkeeper doesn't know how to take them against another goalkeeper, then no one does. But knowing what to do and doing it, 2 different things.